longest running daily radio show about real estate. And we got you covered. When it comes to real estate, there's no better place for you to dial in each day, Monday through Friday. We're here live on this AM station, AM 1470 in the South Florida area. Also on the FM dial at 96.9, also at 95.3. Not to mention, you can download one of the free apps like the iHeartRadio app, the TuneIn app, or the Spreaker app that allows you to listen to this radio station no matter where you are, not just here in the South Florida area, but coast to coast nationwide. In fact, worldwide. If you go to our website, you can also listen to us as we stream this show every day live at 5 from our website, automaticlandlord.com. That's right, automaticlandlord.com. Well, here we are. It's TGIF. That means it is. Thank God it's Friday. Thank God it's Florida, especially this week with the weather and everything that's going on in the Northeast and the record snowfall, the cold temperatures. It felt really nice. We had a couple of cool days down here, but we're right back up into the 80s, just in time for a nice, warm Super Bowl weekend. So we've got the best of the best. And of course, some of you are just saying TGIF, thank God it's finished, finally finished. It's been a busy, busy week here, not only on the real estate show, but I think out there in the marketplace. We've been talking about things all week long and sharing some really good ideas. As you know, on our Monday show, we tend to think of the week ahead, plan out our agenda, pick a theme, and then lay out what we're going to talk about day after day. We also lay out the number of workshops that we have, and we had a series of 4 different workshops. In fact, we made a lot of presentations, and I'm gonna get into that in today's show. We've been talking a lot about the whole issue of debt and what an obstacle that is for many people trying to get into real estate. And so we're definitely going to visit that story again. We've been talking about the lack of inventory in the real estate market and how tough that makes it for first-time home buyers to compete on basically an auction basis out there. And so as a result of the difficulty in the number of properties available, the even greater number of people going after those properties, bolstered by the increased buying power people have with these record low interest rates, which continue to stay very, very low. And when you add in the fact that you've got this booming new population of millennials who are in their peak earning years, expanding their families and fleeing the densely populated big cities to go out into the suburbs, you can see why all across America we're seeing hot markets in spite of the pandemic, in spite of a relatively high but declining unemployment rate. I just heard right before we went on the air that the unemployment rate now is pegged at about 6.3%. A far cry from the over 10% that we saw just a few months ago, and certainly a far cry from the absolute employment collapse that happened right after the declaration of worldwide pandemic. So many things are looking up, many things are looking a little bit challenged, but the neat thing about human nature is that we always come around, we start looking at the problems, and that makes us go to work and think about creative solutions. One of them, which is actually pretty cool, and I'm just going to kind of insert this in as a new topic, even in our weekly review. Want to own an apartment building? Try buying a distressed hotel, and you can bet there are distressed hotels right now, and you can buy a distressed hotel for pennies on the dollar. And so what real estate developers are now doing, very smart, and obviously a sign of the times, they're buying distressed hotels for bargain prices and then converting them to more lucrative and much more needed affordable housing. And the shortage of affordable housing is something that we've been talking a lot about and how we're addressing it. Remember, we talked about the down payment assistance programs. Oh, and I got great news for that as well. I want to tell you that we are now we've been so challenged with the new updates and then discovering new programs that every time that we have what we think is the final version of our report, there's something new happens. And so the case now that we have is this. We're going to put it into an app form so that we can constantly be updating it and you can constantly be accessing it. So if you want to be on the list to receive access to the app, type in the word DPA to 561-861-2366. That's 561-861-2366. Type in DPA and we're going to get you the link so that you can download the new app, which should be ready this weekend. It's hopefully, fingers crossed, everything goes well. So speaking about the smart number, and I was starting to talk about the workshops we had on Monday. We had our Equity Accelerator workshop. And this is a very dynamic workshop where we're teaching real estate investors how to accelerate and build equity faster in their properties using the income from their rental properties as an accelerator. Kind of an advanced topic, but certainly worth it. And it looks like we're going to be doing that workshop again a week from Monday, and space available. This is a limited amount of folks that we want to be able to be interactive with. So if you're interested in that, type in the word equity to 561-861-2366. Now, on Tuesday and on Wednesday, we had the workshop for our credit accelerator. If you got good credit and you want to make it better, you've got a little blemish, you want to get rid of it, you have no credit and you want to start it, or you have bad credit and you want to fix it, the Credit Accelerator Workshop is a can't miss workshop, giving you first the foundation, and now we're going to be coming out with the Credit Accelerator 2 class. This is the next level of the class. But if you're interested in any one of those, type in the word credit to our smart line, and then you'll get the link, which is for our listeners only. The only way that I promote those links is right here on the radio. This is for, I would say, extra credit and extra education that we unfortunately don't have time for here on the radio show. Then we had our Thursday big table, the big round table, which is our mastermind, where you get to rub elbows and share advice with entrepreneurs and real estate investors. And this is kind of for me, it's a very fun opportunity to sort of trade stories, trade secrets with other real estate investors. And we do that every Thursday as well. So if you're interested in that, just type in the word big table to our smart line and you'll get put on the invitation list for that. Again, listeners only, 561-861-2366. So as I was saying here, which was kind of interesting, is that we're seeing a trend, definitely a trend, where developers are now going after these distressed, maybe sometimes outdated hotels, motels, and converting them into affordable housing apartments. The shortage of affordable housing is now considered critical, and you're seeing a bunch of different initiatives that are going after this problem. The so-called Class C housing stock, now 96% occupied nationally and 99% occupied in the Midwest. And that's according to RealPage, a property management software company. We definitely have a demand, and so that you can fill them as fast as you can build them. And when you go and do conversions, the lead time, the construction time is much, much shorter. So keep an eye out. If you see a distressed hotel, motel in your area, bring it to our attention. We might be able to put together something with some of these developers. The share of hotels, by the way, currently behind on their mortgages, right? They've been, some of them empty for months because of COVID. if they weren't able to rent to first responders, they probably weren't able to rent them at all for a while. And the percentage of these hotels that are behind on their mortgage is now almost at 20%. That's huge, huge in terms of a percentage of any class not being able. In normal times, as I say, real estate usually runs at about a 2% default rate. We're talking about almost 10 times that in the hotel business. So keep your eye out. And like I said, let us know. You can either let us know at automaticlandlord.com. You can, in fact, we need to set up a smart code for our smart line for you to respond there, because we're going to need to grab a little bit of information. Now, one of our new companies is Evergreen Management, and Evergreen Management has a website, and Evergreen Management buys houses. And if you want to go to Evergreen Management buys houses.com, you can also enter your information there. That's where a lot of our scouts set things up and are able to register properties so that they can participate in any deals that get made there. So once again, that's Evergreen buys houses.com. We also have an Evergreen sells houses.com, but as you can imagine, properties come, properties go very, very, very fast. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break, hear a few words from our sponsors. By the way, I forgot to mention one other thing in that article about the hotels. I said that the number of delinquencies is now at 18%. What was it 1 year ago? Just like in housing, 1 year ago, it was less than 2% in the hotel business, according to Fitch Ratings. So we're talking about a serious and severe opportunity in the hotel motel business there. So anyway, you stay posted, keep your eyes open, keep us posted. In the meanwhile, we're going to take a quick break, hear a few words from our sponsors. Don't touch that dial. My name is Eric Willner, and I will be right back. Rich from Pennsylvania, how are you? Tamides, how are you? So we've got coverage now. We got international coverage. Felipe calling from the country of California. Let's see what else we got there on our live feed. So interesting stuff there on the hotels for sure. Suite hotels are cheaper to convert, by the way, since they already have kitchens, and standard rooms don't require all that much work either. So the demand for these affordable units is only getting stronger. Definitely want to take a look at some of those opportunities, and you might look at that particularly in the sort of the suburb out of the main areas. They may even be more interesting. So we'll definitely have to earmark that article. Let's see here, and I'm going to skip that one. Your input, your call, and your likes. The Real Estate Show. Hey, Felipe. Let's see if I can do anything here. Oh, not letting me. I'll tell you that back there. And welcome back. For those of you just joining us, you are listening to The Real Estate Show, South Florida's #1 program about real estate and America's longest running daily radio show, all about the topic of real estate. And we've been having a super exciting week, as I mentioned. Fridays we try to wrap it up and hit the high points. We talked about Monday, our agenda, and the theme that we've been talking about. First of all, trying to help with affordable housing. And affordable housing is important for everybody, not just first-time home buyers. It's important for investors as well. If we can't find affordable housing out there, it puts a pinch and really stops the wheels of progress in real estate for many, many people. So the topic and conversation that I had wasn't a review, it was actually a new article. And I want you to keep your eyes open for that. This whole concept of going after distressed hotels. And if you see any hotels that are shut down, might be even better out there. And we'd love to hear about them, and perhaps we can do something together on those. I talked about the workshops that we also set the agenda for the week. We got a whole new set of workshops coming up on starting Monday of this coming week. So stay tuned. Monday we'll give out that agenda. Now Tuesday we were talking about the number one obstacle to first-time homebuyers out there is the enormous amount of debt that they carry. I talked also during the week about the quote-unquote money disorders that they've been talking about more and more in the news, that as people are sort of locked up and quarantined or sheltering in place, that the tendency to shop online and spend more money because they can't get their window shopping fix out there. And, we're in a debt-fueled economy, plain and simple. There's no question about that. Some statistics: average credit card debt in the United States. This is an old figure because I'm looking here at, they say it's 16,425. I already saw it go over 18,000. The average American has over $18,000 of credit card debt alone. And credit card debt usually comes from stuff I spent, stuff I used, stuff I bought, and stuff that doesn't carry asset value, right? It's expense. Then the average mortgage debt in the United States on the rise. As the last official data here, it was $180,000. Now remember, right now the median home price in the United States is about $280,000. You put 20% down on an $80,000, and most people put probably more like 10% down and even less. So let's take 10%. If you take away roughly 30,000, that means that the mortgages that most people are getting are around 220, 250, 250,000. So this 180,000 is bound to go up. Then you look at average student loan in the United States, and right now we're at about 50,000 in student loans. Then you add in the average car loan of 31,000. Now, if you're checking off all the boxes, if you round it, 30 plus 50 is 80, plus 80, that's 260, add another 20, that people who own a home, own a house, have student loans and credit cards could be owing north of $300,000. And imagine if you didn't have the home to be able to refinance, do some consolidations and things like that, the story gets even more difficult. Or if your student loan is more than that average, and that is what is preventing you, which is why we have a workshop called our Debt Elimination Workshop. And if you have $20,000 or more of credit card debt, car loans, mortgage loans, you have $20,000 or more of any debt, then you're going to want to come to this workshop next week that we're going to have on Monday night. And we're going to talking exactly how you can approach this in a systematic way. And we're going to show you how to convert all of those debt payments into investment payments, how to convert debt payments into wealth payments. And there is a system to do that. So stay tuned. We're going to talk about that just in the beginning of the week. In fact, let me just see something right here, if they've already put that up on our list. In fact, they're calling it 101. So if you type in 101 to 561-861-2366, you can already pre-reserve that. I think they haven't put the smart code in yet for that one, but they're telling me here that we can use 101, type it in to 561-861-2366. If you've got more than $20,000 debt and you want to turn that debt into wealth, and I'll show you, it sounds kind of creative. It sounds like something that you might not have heard about, but it's exactly what you want to do. So that's what we talked about on Tuesday. And we were talking not only about the fact that we're in this debt-fueled society, we were talking about how the algorithms of mortgages and how banks set up their debt is often front interest loaded. So just for example, in a 30-year mortgage, what are you paying? Even though you may have one of these record low interest rates, 3 or 4%, or even less, 2%. I've been hearing now people starting. Can you imagine a 30-year fixed loan start with your interest rate fixed for 30 years with a number starting with a 2? You got to run and get that, lock that in where you can. And if you don't know where to go, call us. We'll tell you. But the truth of the matter is that most of that payment, because of the algorithms, because of the formula of amortizing, how the banks set it up, the amortizing loan in the first year is probably 75% interest, 25% principal out of the payment. So even though I'm paying a low interest rate, I'm actually paying the majority, and I'm talking 70, 80% going towards interest. And that's why you need to understand these techniques on how to pay off these loans faster. For example, I can take a 30-year mortgage using this strategy, and I can show you how to pay a 30-year mortgage off in 10 years or less without having to starve yourself or change your lifestyle at all. So that's a key thing. Imagine if instead of putting 2 to 3 times what you're going to pay back when you take out a regular mortgage over 30 years, you're going to pay 2 to 3 times what you borrowed, which is basically like saying that for every house I buy for me, I've got to buy the bank a house or a house and a half in the process. Imagine if instead of buying the bank a house, I bought me 2 houses instead of 1 for the price of 1. Do you know that the average household spends 34.5 cents of every dollar to pay interest on their debt? And then if you think that most Americans are spending somewhere around 15 to 20%, sometimes 25 to 30% of their income in the form of taxes. And when you think about it, there's income tax, state and local and federal, and then there's property tax, and then there's sales tax, and then there's taxes on the taxes and on the taxes. When you actually look at what that represents, it's easy to see that you could spend 20% just on taxes, 34.5%, 50% of your money goes out the window. You don't get to spend it because either the banks or the government get it. Wouldn't it make sense to figure out how to do that? Type 101 for our free workshop, 561-861-2366, and you can learn how to do that for your family as well. So that was our Tuesday show, and I think it was very, very informative on what you should be looking for and then what the next step to take is. Wednesday, of course, is our midweek report, and we had some great topics there that we were talking about in our midweek report. Always we cover as much of what's going on in the marketplace as possible. We were talking about, for example, and in fact, one of my favorite articles we talked about was, is it better to rent or to own a home in America? And there was a recent study that talked about it. And of course, the conclusion was that yes, especially nowadays with the low interest rates and the rising costs of housing and the rising prices of houses, what it does to your net worth, that it was by far the best thing to do. In fact, what was it? 48 out of 50 states, if I recall correctly from the article, where that was the case. In fact, First American looked at 50 housing markets across America to see if renting or buying made more financial sense. In all but 2 of those markets, San Francisco and San Jose, owning made more sense than renting. So that's something that you want to take a look at and understand when we start talking about these ways of getting into a house affordable, either through our DPA programs, either through our lending programs, through our debt reduction programs. There's something out there to help everybody possible. And so if you missed any one of our shows, then you might want to listen to our Sunday night real estate show marathon starting at 9 p.m. Eastern. Every one of our shows back to back goes on the air again for a repeat, a review, if you will. And don't forget, you can always listen to the real estate show and our archive shows at our website at automaticlandlord.com. That's automaticlandlord.com. And don't forget also to stop by and visit us on our Facebook page where you can watch the video of our shows archived. Each one of our shows is videotaped, and archived over there. And if you're there, stop by, give us a like, share that show out to others so that we can get more coverage for the real estate show, share more information. All of this, a wealth of knowledge at no cost, but certainly of great, great benefit. Anyway, I got the music in my ear, which is their subtle way of telling me that it's time to go and to wrap it up. So on this note of a TGIF Friday, this is Eric Willner signing off until Monday. Drive safe, wash those hands, and make it a great day. Bye-bye. All right, man. You have a good weekend. And that wraps it up for a busy week. And hope you guys all had a great week as well. I got a couple of fun stuff that I'll be sharing, bits and pieces of it.